with
All
what's
right,
going on.
so we are back.
because he's gonna want to take it all.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
So, gentlemen, English version we will discuss today. First of all, thank you all for joining us. Thank you, Mr. Miller.
think
Mr.
it's
Clashy,
fitting.
I dropped my pen. There you go. We will discuss today, as the camera's not on me anymore, the power of debt. So, negative, positive. What kind of power can it have on us? What is the current conception of that people have of debt, and what should they have as a conception? So, I'll throw the ball to you.
To me or to who? Who did you?
Whoever wants to answer first.
Go ahead.
Well, I'd love to know what Mike thinks because Mike wasn't there for the French for this conversation.
true.
So, what's your opinion of on how to use debt? Maybe if, as a real estate broker,
As a business owner,
as a business owner, how do you perceive debt?
I think the perfect way to make money is with other people's money. It's always the best way to do. I mean,
and it's a wrap.
however you want to look at it. I mean, even if you have a company that's incorporated or you have an LLC or anything like that, you have a limited liability towards the company. So if the company takes in a debt, you could take it a lot more risk without you being personally liable. So
When you started your one of your different businesses, but the one about the I forget what it's called, but the car parts or
Yeah.
the mags or something.
Yeah.
What did you use all of your money to start? Did you know what you're talking about now about borrowing and using other people's money, or did you use your own money
It was using basically capital that I had, and then
that you had put aside or that you had? Yeah.
and
So
then
that
as you went along, because what happens is that I don't know if you probably did know this. I was gonna say, but like when you have money in the bank, this is the weirdest thing. What I find is when you have money in the bank wants to lend you money.
Oh yeah.
Well, we
But
talked
yet-
about that.
But it's weird because when you have no money and you actually need it, they
Yeah.
won't give you anything.
That's
But when
right.
you actually have money, like, hey, would you like to get a
so
that-
the
a line of
lesson
credit?
here,
That's why if you have money, it's time to ask for a lot of
Yes.
money
Yeah.
so that you're ready for the moments where you don't have money.
see, I just got an offer from I think it was RBC for a line of a personal line of credit. Now I already have like a lot of credit, and they just sent me an email or a text. I forget what it is. It's probably not a text.
you-
It's probably not a text.
pre-approved.
Hey,
if it's a
you are
text, it's a scam.
It's a scam. You are
here to
pre-approved
claim
for
I
1
don't remember
million.
how I got it, but anyways, they said here's and it's a good amount. It's a big amount, and I said yeah, sure. I don't need it, but I'm gonna take it right now because I don't know if ever I'm gonna need it. If for those that don't know, I was $500,000, $500,000 in debt not that long ago, through my divorces and bad decisions.
And he looks at me again.
That's where you're going. No,
Yeah.
but it's you need it or will need it one day. You never
Yeah.
know. So it's good
True.
to have so that you can. I think you were saying in the French, so you can keep your operations going, your payroll, your rents,
100%.
your marketing strategy. and all
We're
that.
potentially going into recession.
I think we are.
Things gonna happen. It's gonna get hard. So right now, when you have the opportunity, if you're a broker, where you did amazing years as COVID was great for a lot of people, for a lot of brokers. So take
Yeah,
that time as an
exactly.
advantage. Go see your bank. You have the financials, but go see your bank with your
Refinance your home.
refinance. Do anything that's required right now.
Don't
before
go take
anything
that
hits.
money and then buy a
Don't spend it.
Lambo.
That's
not exactly. Don't
That's not
keep
what
it.
we're
No,
talking
because
about.
that's going to bring me to my next point, because a lot of people are going to think, oh, great, so I can afford debt now, so let me go and grab it and so on, and then be responsible with it. So where does financial education come in, and how much research should you do about it, or how much should you know about it before start applying for these line of credits
Well,
and so on?
rule number one is if you have credit, or if you have the bank is lending you money through line of credits or business cards or business credit cards or etc. Don't spend it to buy a new car or buy the new TV
Jewelry.
or buy jewelry
Or
or buy
cigars.
stuff that have
Rolexes.
no value. If you have the means, go ahead. But if you don't, buy it, or you spend that money to grow your team, to allow your business to sustain itself, to allow your marketing to sustain itself, or to grow at a certain point. Use that money to any mean that will allow you to push your business to that next level, because it's going to get harder.
Yeah.
And when things get harder, it gets harder for everyone. But if you have the funds ready, well, you're going to be able to sustain your business
And the
longer.
lenders are going to tighten their
Oh yes, they
actual,
will.
They will.
their criterias for lending. So
Yes.
you don't
You
want
should
to
never
wait.
invest in a depreciating asset.
That's right.
So,
Thank
there's some things that people will use a car as a tool. If it's a tool in order for you to work, then you can maybe get a write off of that. But a depreciating asset is the worst thing you can invest in. So, buying a Lamborghini, honestly, it would be a lot wiser for you to invest it into something that's appreciating instead of something that's depreciating by the day.
Good
The
point.
Lambo.
Definitely.
But I have a question for you because I'm gave an example where I went and got this line of credit that they offered me when I don't need it, and I
Yeah.
already have a bunch of other potential credit
Yes.
that I'm not using. Was that a good idea or not? Because it's going to affect my credit score.
Yes, it
Yes.
could be because it'll be perceived as a liability because you have access to it right away.
Yes, but having no,
Doesn't
anyways,
matter.
Do you have a point? Because I can answer you from a
No,
bank's
go ahead.
perspective.
Yeah, yeah.
Because
Because Gabriel used to work at the
Yeah.
I was in
financial
corporate
institution.
lending, so that's exactly what we did. And you know what? Accepting it is what you should do because, as you said, when you actually need it and it's time to apply for it, they're just going to decline you because they'll see your situation is struggling. So always take it. And people saying, "Oh, it's going to hit my credit score." No, what hits your credit score in a bad way is going to be either overusing it ratios wise, also using over 40-50% of it consistently, or even worse, not doing back your payments.
Yeah.
But having a line of credit that stays at zero, and then you go apply for something. No, either zero or within
in my-
30% or
it does-
something.
it does
I
impact-
think what he was referring to is the fact that if you want to apply for an additional mortgage or something like that,
Yeah.
what
Yes.
they do is they look at credit
Yes.
cards and
Yes.
lines of credit, like as if even if you're at zero,
Yes.
as liabilities.
Yes.
They
Because-
do, but they will look at your character. It's the 3 C's, and one of the biggest ones is your character. How do you act with debt?
They
Not
don't-
just what debt do you
But
have.
do they ask? And this is a question I kind of know, but I want to ask the question. Do they ask at? Do they look at? I should say, at your net worth?
Yes, absolutely.
Because I mean that's going to have a
course.
big impact. I'm just throwing numbers
'cause
there,
that's
but
part of
if
your
I
profile,
have
of course.
500,000 in potential credit that I can go get, but I'm not worth much, then that's going to have an impact. No,
That's right.
Yes, 100%. Yeah, because
If
it's
you're worth
it's your
$10
entire
million
profile.
and you've got 500 grand, it's nothing.
there you go.
That's right.
It's a percentage of the.
But how
ratio.
would one know? And this is maybe something that I don't think anybody talks about in real estate or as brokers. What's net worth? Should you know that? Is that important to know as
It's
a broker?
very important to know.
100%.
But we never talk about that. Not
That's true.
we. I mean, I've never heard
But like
anybody talk about
any
it.
individual, don't talk about it. It's because they don't understand the concept of it.
Well, most individuals don't understand what the net worth is.
But
They
is
don't-
it important to know as a
But
real
they
estate
don't
broker?
understand
As
finance.
But because a lot of people don't budget, they live paycheck to paycheck. They spend, they whatever. They don't budget. They use their credit card. Oh, I owe this month, but they don't realize what they're doing. A lot of people, even artists that make millions and millions of dollars,
yeah, that's a
They
good
go
example.
bankrupt.
they go bankrupt because they don't understand the concept of how money works. So they spend money. I was watching this thing on Shaquille O'Neal,
Yeah.
where I think on his first paycheck, he spent like $1 million in one day.
Wasn't that Walmart or something?
No, he spent.
Or-
No,
Oh,
he
yeah,
spent,
I saw
he
that.
spent
Yeah,
$1
yeah,
million
that's-
bucks in one day on his first paycheck that he got from the
insane.
NBA.
That's
And what he
insane.
did is that he said, I went out, I bought the most expensive Mercedes S-Class that I could find. He bought one. Then he bought one for his dad. Then he went and bought jewelry, clothes, and all that. I think it was up at $500K. And then when they got home with the 2 new cars, the mother saw it and she was like, well, I would like to get one too. Not one like you, but whatever. He went and bought her another Mercedes. And then on the Monday when he went back, he went to see his accountant and the lawyer and was like, what happened to you this weekend? And he goes, well, I bought a few things, whatever. He
You're
goes,
in overdrive.
I still have like 250K left. He goes, no, you're like minus 500,000.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, what do you mean? He goes, well, you got to pay your taxes.
Of
Like,
course.
and he just like spent all his money. So now he learned. And funny enough, this guy right now is worth
Yeah.
a lot
Yeah.
with everything that he invested because he learned from that situation that
Yeah.
he was in because nobody educated him, financially to understand the spending and the way that he was doing it.
It comes back to we were talking about it in the French version. It comes back to the cash flow aspect. The if you don't understand your day-to-day as an individual, as a business, you need to be able to sustain your business for your payroll, for your operation, for your rent, for your office, any type of your day-to-day
But most
expenses.
real estate brokers won't have to worry about that, though. They won't have to worry about payroll and rent.
No,
and
but
all
they'll
that,
have
but
to
they'll-
worry about their
Agency
agency
fees.
fees, their license, their mentorship if they want to spend in that, their marketing expenses.
So it's not a lot, but what we're saying is that you shouldn't be going into your savings account.
No.
or things or money that you made through other activities or jobs to go and fund your business activity. You should go and borrow that money.
If
And
you
then-
can,
If you
If
can.
well, you hopefully can. If you cannot, then you should ask yourself why. What's going on here? And is
But-
it the best idea to go into business if you can't use
You know,
or borrow money?
a lot of brokers, a lot of new brokers, they come from another industry. They were employees. They were
Yeah.
they had their day to day 9 to 5 job. Well, maybe it's a time right before getting into the business, time to go see your bank. And when you have the constant of salary, etc., because that's what the bank look like. They want to make sure that
You can
you
pay
had a
back.
steady
Yeah.
job. You have the funds, you can pay back. Sure, I will give you a line of credit.
but can I say something? As what they call un travailleur indépendant, un travailleur
Yeah.
autonome,
Yes.
it's very difficult for
It's-
them to be able to get money.
It's
from
2
the-
years. They're gonna
Yeah.
look at 2 years
Yes.
revenue and they're gonna average it out. So
Yeah.
Oh, now you have to learn how to pitch it.
and you need good credit
Yeah.
Yes,
score.
Yeah.
yes. But if you pitch the bank a certain way, like remember we
Because,
talked about
the
it.
reason why I'm telling you this is because a lot of people that work the way that real estate brokers work, they'll have an accountant, and the accountant will maybe use these expenses, those expenses, those expenses. So the net at the end, it's not that high.
You know?
So it's not because they can't afford it; it's just because they got so many expenses that their net is not that high. So then now, when it comes for them to get a mortgage to get something,
Yeah,
it's difficult.
that's why you have to have a strategy into your finance. You have a strategy into your business, but you also have you need that strategy into your finance. If you know you want to buy a house in 2 years, you sit down with your accountant and say, I want to buy a house in 2 years. How can I build my portfolio so that it looks good enough to
True,
the
but man,
banks,
the
right?
taxes, man, they
I
rob you
know.
of those
I
taxes.
know.
Like sometimes it's wow.
But you have
it's
to
difficult.
if you got to
It's a
do
very-
what's
yeah, it's an
required,
exercise.
you got to do what's required,
Yeah.
either for your business or for your personal.
Yeah, so it comes back to financial education. So it has a much bigger role than we seem to think. I think one of the first advice a previous mentor has told me in the banking area said the second you're going to start your company, the first book you ever want to buy yourself has nothing to do with Grant Cardone or Gary Vee or anything like this. He says you buy Accounting for Dummies.
Yeah.
Because if you don't
I
know what's
agree.
happening in your numbers, you're gonna get into bad
Yeah,
situations.
I
And if
agree.
you have and your accountant also can funnel stuff for himself without you even knowing. So you need
Wow.
to understand. No, seriously.
But you gotta understand,
you
as
gotta
Gabriel is
understand
saying,
the fundamentals,
the
on your own.
lingo and yeah, the rules.
Because sometimes you put somebody in a position of power or a position that they can understand your finances, whatever, and then you won't even know.
But to make the right decisions, you have to understand. Like I took me a long time to understand financial statements and what they mean. It's not an easy thing to necessarily to understand. And I think it's the last thing we usually do.
No, it's true.
And so I think I agree with that. Is there a book that that you would recommend, Gabriel, about that?
For
Or
accounting?
yeah, simple stuff, but just
Yeah,
to get going.
that's literally what it's called.
Yeah,
dummy
It's
one?
Accounting for Dummies.
I never read that one.
It's
I
the
read
yellow
about-
book.
you should.
They got
It's the
internet
yellow
for
book.
It's the
dummies,
yellow
they
book.
got Bitcoin for dummies.
Yeah,
They got
yeah,
crypto
It's
for
the
dummies.
yellow
They got
yellow
everything.
book.
It's the yellow book.
It was honestly
Spanish
it taught
for
all the
dummies.
fundamentals. Spanish.
Yeah, you do, no, but you do.
No, I believe you. But I'm saying, how is that gonna help you with
they
that?
have all topics. They have
Por
all
qué?
topics.
Hola, I need that.
Por favor.
Cerveza?
Oh Lord! But
Who knows?
there's a few from the Rich Dad companies that are also talking about
Yeah.
tax advisors
true.
and so on.
But
So,
but you got to be careful if it's U.S. or
Yeah, because a
100%.
lot of it doesn't
no,
apply
it really
here. Yeah.
says you have the
But-
Canadian real estate investor. That's a good one.
But another way also is your accounting, your accountant should be your business should be your business partner ish.
Jeff, do you know how hard it is to find a very good accountant?
I know.
No, but you also have to be careful about what you just said there because the accountant's an accountant.
No,
Yeah.
An
Wait, yes
entrepreneur
and
is
no.
an entrepreneur. An accountant
don't
will
think
not
the
look
same.
at things the same way as
No.
you will, and they won't put. They're going to tell
Again.
you to save and all of that stuff. Which
not necessarily. That's why it has to match. You have to, like anything, you have to have the kind of the same vision, the same. Like
they won't.
my banker. I
bankers.
chose no, but wait. I chose my banker because we have the same vision. I chose my accountant because we have the same vision. I choose my mentor because I have the same vision.
How do you find your accountant?
Well, my network. You know, I network a lot,
Okay.
and I would after a certain while.
And he's
after a
good?
while, he's fantastic.
Okay.
As
he-
far as you can
He's
tell.
he's good
for now.
He's good. Yes, for now. You're right.
Yeah.
For now.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Things
then the
change.
next
Yeah.
the next move.
You know what I find?
changed
I'll
accountant-
tell
I
you
changed
something what I
accountant in
find.
the last-
The
Tell us,
better
last
the
tell us.
accountant is, the better the accountant is, the more busy he is, the more busy he is, the more diluted he becomes. And then it's so difficult for you to get the simple task done because then he starts dealing with certain account levels that are
Yep.
like in millions and millions and millions and millions, that to the point that he's like, oh, well, we'll do this later. And you're waiting and waiting to get your stuff done.
Wow.
I find it's very tough sometimes.
But that's like in anything,
That's right.
isn't it?
yeah, it is
The
probably.
more successful the person becomes.
Of course. So that's why
more
it's just an
challenging.
But you know what? Also, when you get to the top, you don't forget the people that got you there also. So
Oh yeah,
there-
no, you forget.
Oh, you forget.
He still doesn't remember my name.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Alright.
I'm very fortunate that all those people in my network were about the same age or approximately from the same age or a bit older, so that we're growing together at the same time. So my
so they're
goal,
getting a benefit out of dealing with you at the same time.
of
So it's
course.
not like,
So
yeah.
my goal is to grow. My goal is to grow my network. My goal is to grow my the empire, or whatever it is. So they will follow and they believe also. Now, if they will drop me if I don't succeed or if I don't manage to get to that next level, to your point, because their business is going to grow, they're going to get better at what they do, and at one point they'll say, well, I don't have time for him because he's not
Well, I'm
Well, I
happy.
mean, now listen, you're still paying them for the work. I mean,
of
the guy-
course.
I mean, what he's gonna do is like he's gonna let the junior accountant handle
That's
your
right.
stuff.
So because we're talking about accountants, and I'm happy we're talking about that, I expect that you speak to your accountants because I need some money for the thing we're working on,
Right.
guys.
I am talking to my accountant Monday night.
Yes,
I'm
because
having a
we have an
good
appointment
meeting.
next Wednesday with an important person, and we need to. I need some money. So great. No, but see, this is about borrowing. It's about understanding the finances. It's I think it doesn't matter if you're one person broker to a big multi-million-dollar company. The principles stay the same, and so that's part of education. That's part of some a big aspect that you need to put effort in. If you need help, because I certainly did,
Yep.
and you don't know where to start with all of that stuff, reach out to us. Reach out to the number. We have my number. You can text me. We'll set something up free. No worries about. No, it's not about making money. It's about helping you with your money, and I'll take the time and meet with you.
Fantastic.
All right. And on that note, guys, we'll finish our live today with our new crown video. So our brand new construction project. We are obviously also in residential, commercial, mortgage cabinet, as well as business plus. So we'll leave you with this brand new project, and we'll be seeing you all tomorrow.